He wasn't supposed to notice, and that was the whole point. At exactly 11:47 p.m., when the glass walls of the top floor reflected nothing but darkness and exhaustion, Mary, one of the youngest and most fierce CEOs in the city, slowly leaned back in her chair and closed her eyes. To anyone watching, she looked like she had finally given in to sleep after another brutal 18-hour workday. But she wasn't asleep. Not really. This was her test. Her company was dying quietly, painfully, and faster than anyone realized. Investors were pulling out, numbers were bleeding red, and worst of all, she had begun to suspect betrayal from within. People smiled in meetings, praised her leadership, and then leaked information behind her back. So tonight, she decided to trust no one, not her executives, not her managers, not even her closest advisors. Instead, she would trust the one person nobody ever noticed. Stephen, a single dad, a janitor, a man who walked silently through the halls every night, cleaning up the mess left behind by powerful people. Mary had seen him before, once helping a crying intern without asking for recognition, once fixing a broken chair so a tired employee could rest, and once, most strangely, staying late just to organize documents no one told him to touch. He didn't belong in this world of greed and manipulation, and that's exactly why she chose him. Tonight, she left her office door slightly open, important files scattered across her desk, financial reports exposed, and herself asleep. Stephen hesitated when he reached her office. He wasn't supposed to go in, that was clear, but as he gently pushed the door, his eyes immediately noticed the chaos. Papers slipping off the desk, a glass of water dangerously close to expensive documents, and Mary, motionless. For a moment, he frowned. See, this wasn't his place. He could walk away. No one would blame him. He had his own problems, his young daughter waiting at home, bills piling up, exhaustion clinging to his bones. But something inside him refused to ignore it. Quietly, carefully, he stepped inside. He didn't touch her, didn't try to wake her. Instead, he began with the simplest act of kindness, moved the glass away from the documents. Then he started organizing the papers. But as his eyes scanned the reports, his expression slowly changed. Confusion, then concern, then something deeper. Stephen wasn't just a janitor. Years ago, before life fell apart, before his wife passed away and responsibilities crushed his dreams, he had studied finance. He had once been brilliant, but life doesn't always reward brilliance. Sometimes, it buries it. And now, standing in front of those papers, he saw something no one else had caught. A mistake, not a small one, a fatal one. Numbers that didn't align, projections that were manipulated, contracts that, if executed, would destroy the company within weeks. His heart started racing. This is wrong, he whispered under his breath. He looked at Mary again. She still appeared asleep. He could leave, pretend he never saw anything. After all, who would believe a janitor over high-level executives? He could lose his job, his only source of income, the only stability his daughter had left. But then, he remembered her, his little girl, the way she smiled even when they had nothing, the way she believed her father could fix anything. And in that moment, Stephen made a choice. He pulled a chair quietly and sat her down. Taking a pen, he began writing, not just small corrections but a complete breakdown of the company's hidden crisis. He traced the manipulated data, highlighted the suspicious contracts, and outlined a strategy simple, bold, and risky that could save everything. Hours passed. Mary didn't move, didn't breathe differently, but inside, her world was shifting, because everything she had believed about people was being rewritten in silence. At 3:12 a.m. Stephen finally stood up. His eyes were heavy, his hands slightly shaking, but his work was done. He placed the neatly organized files back on the desk, his notes carefully on top, and without waking her, he turned to leave. He stopped at the door for just a second, looked back, and whispered, "I hope this helps. You deserve better people around you." Then he walked away. The door closed softly behind him, and for the first time that night, Mary opened her eyes. But instead of satisfaction, there were tears. By morning, everything had changed, but no one knew it yet. Mary sat in the same chair, holding Stephen's handwritten notes like they were something fragile, something priceless. Every line he had written was precise, honest, and painfully accurate. He had seen everything her executives tried to hide. Worse, he had offered a solution none of them even dared to suggest. And he did it, without expecting anything in return. That's what broke her. In a world where everyone wanted power, money, or recognition, a man who had nothing gave her everything. Within hours, Mary called an emergency board meeting. Executives walked in confidently, unaware that their carefully built lives were about to collapse. One by one, she exposed them not with anger, but with calm precision. Documents were presented, evidence was undeniable, faces turned pale, excuses sounded hollow. By the end of the meeting, half the room was empty. Fired, removed, gone. But Mary wasn't thinking about them anymore. She was thinking about Stephen. That same night, she went looking for not as a CEO, but as someone searching for the truth she had almost lost. She found him in the hallway, quietly doing his job like nothing had happened, like he hadn't just saved an entire company. Stephen, he turned, surprised, nervous, unsure. I hope I didn't overstep, he said quickly, his voice filled with fear. Mary stepped closer. For a moment, she didn't speak. She just looked at him, man everyone ignored, the man who saw everything. You didn't overstep, she said softly. You saved us. He blinked, confused. I'm just a janitor. No, she replied, her voice breaking just slightly. You're the only honest person I had. Silence filled the space between them, but it wasn't empty. It was heavy, meaningful, real. Over the following weeks, everything began to change. Not just the company, but Mary herself. She offered Stephen a position only that matched his true abilities. At first, he refused, not out of pride, but fear. Fear of failing, fear of losing the only stability he had. But Mary didn't pressure him. She simply believed in him, the same way he believed in doing the right thing. And slowly, he said yes. Their worlds, once so far apart, began to collide in the most unexpected ways. Late-night discussions turned into laughter. Professional respect turned into quiet admiration. And admiration, slowly, gently, turned into something neither of them planned. Love, but not the kind built on power or status. The kind built on kindness, trust, and a single moment when someone chose to do the right thing, even when no one was watching. One evening, as they stood overlooking the city, Mary finally asked him the question that had been haunting her since that night. Why did you help me? Stephen smiled softly. Because you looked like someone who had no one to trust. Mary's eyes filled with tears again, but this time, she didn't hide them, because for the first time in a long time, she didn't feel alone.